Welcome to my 2026 ice fishing forecast, brought to you by Trombley's Tackle Box in Aurelia. Everything you need to make your ice fishing season more productive, safer, and fun. After a crazy long hot summer and extended fall, we're now in early December and all the signs of winter are here. The bass are deep and en route to their wintering holes. On sunny, warm days, the shiners are shallow or close to the surface over deeper water. The goby are moving deeper, providing incentive for prey fish to move deeper as well. But not just prey fish are feeding on goby. Migratory birds are also feeding on this easy prey. After the terns have gone, the Bonaparte gulls come in the thousands, feeding on the shiners. Often underneath those shiners you'll find yellow perch. After spending most of the summer in much deeper water, they're beginning to consolidate close to spawning areas, river mouths, and of course in the shallows chasing shiners. So it looks like Mother Nature knows what's going to happen, and as fall transitions into winter. But the big question is, are we going to get ice? We certainly know what happened last year. We got a lot of ice, but we got a lot of snow. According to the Farmer's Almanac, we're going to have a cold, dry winter in southern Ontario. We like this prediction because we don't even have to move our dart from last year. So let's get on with the forecast, starting with the most popular fish in the lake. My yellow perch forecast is about the same as it's been for the last 2 years. I don't see any major stressors on the lake that are going to change this fish factory. I spend most of my summer and fall with cameras down, looking for a variety of fish. And the number of perch that I see in multiple year classes is extremely encouraging. As I say in all my videos, catch rates are not the best indicator of the health of the fishery. But looking at the Lake Simcoe Jumbo Throwdown results, that's pretty encouraging as well. Keep in mind that the snow was so deep and conditions were so bad for half of the season that walkers and even ATVs couldn't get on the ice. Hut operators that could have their huts out for most of the season did very well. Reports from the Lake Simcoe message board, a lot of social media sites, and very good perch anglers that I know had a good season with very good average size. Last year I said, even though there was a longer growing season and an abundance of food, that I didn't find that the fish were growing any faster in the tests that I've been doing. I haven't done any tests in quite a while, so this spring I did one on a 12-inch fish. And this fish was only 6 years old, so maybe it's changing. If you would like to age test a fish, you can find the opercular bone on the cheek. You can just cut it off and let it dry out and scrape the skin off. And for additional fun this year, you can enter the Lake Simcoe Jumbo Throwdown. This year it starts Saturday, January the 10th and ends Sunday, March the 1st. So I think it's going to be another great perch season. I hope the bays freeze up and we've got lots of good walking ice out there as well. And if you do happen to age test some fish, let me know the results. Thanks. This isn't so much of a forecast, more or less an inquiry, because I have no idea how many walleye are actually caught through the ice in the wintertime. Like most of you, I see the odd picture on social media of fish caught all over the lake, but they're always incidental catches. For all of the years that I've had cameras down through the ice, I saw more walleye last year than I have for every other year combined. I saw them in 4 or 5 different locations and at different depths, like this one here is at 11 feet. Most of them were pretty big fish, but there was some smaller ones as well. The only one I hooked into was really big fish in 8 feet of water, but I had 4-pound test line while I was fishing for perch, and you know who won that battle. So the question remains, is this an upcycle for walleye or just a coincidence? Be interesting to hear your thoughts through the season. Now we can move on to the second most popular fish that's targeted through the ice. whitefish. A couple of years ago, I said I was seeing a lot of very large schools of juvenile whitefish. Some of them I even mistakenly thought they were Simcoe or herring. I recorded them in 3 or 4 different locations on the lake, and a lot of friends told me they were seeing the same thing. But I didn't actually confirm they were whitefish until they started swimming in front of my camera. 2 years later, I'm still seeing them. They're just bigger now. I'm still convinced that we have a very healthy population of whitefish, although that might not be what it was 5 to 7 years ago, when everybody learned to fish for them shallow. There's been thousands and thousands of fish taken from these same areas where whitefish come back to spawn and stay there because there's food. So the bite becomes very tough, not just because there's fewer fish there, but also there's a self-governing effect. They see the same baits, they hear the same noises, and posture changes. I caught most of my whitefish last year in 35 to 50 feet of water, basically on sand flats or gravel flats, not really associated with structure. But if there was a mounding on the bottom or some formation, then they'd tend to adhere to it. Transition areas from sand to gravel or sand to rock were very productive. These fish are not pressured, and even when I am fishing rocks and humps, I'm basically fishing deeper water. Outdoor Junkies Thingamajig and Grumpy Goby did the trick for me most days. I also used amigs in deeper structures because I could tap it on the rocks. 3 great Canadian baits. Whitefish have been stocked in Lake Simcoe since 1982, and annually they stock approximately 100,000 to 150,000. Recently, there's been what we'll call an unofficial concern that, in fact, stocked whitefish were not surviving. Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources Fisheries are seeing almost all naturals in their nets. Last year, I did a very unorganized survey on social media. I wanted to see what the ratio of clipped fish or stocked fish to naturals was. I received 143 confirmed results, and there was 8 to 10% stocked fish. That's actually not bad if it's accurate. In fact, it would be incredible if we actually could maintain a healthy population without stocking at all. But ending a stocking program can be very risky, as we found out with lake trout. I'd like to run the same survey again this year, maybe a little better organized. It'd be great to have an app. In spite of the doom and gloom talk about the decline of the whitefish population, I just don't see it. We may be well off the peak of 5 to 7 years ago when fresh anglers were introduced to shallow waters, but all that means is the low-hanging fruit's gone, and those days of double-digit catches are probably not coming back in a hurry. I think it will be a good year if we get good ice. So try fishing a little deeper, fish structure in the morning and the flats in the afternoon. Probably the most underestimated and neglected fishery in Lake Simcoe and Couchiching is northern pike. I would estimate that the vast majority of catches are actually incidental by perch anglers. Pike are thriving in Lake Simcoe and Couchiching. There are so many healthy spawning areas, and they start to spawn in their second year. And you don't need deep water access to catch them. If the long-term warming trend has benefited any species, it's pike. There's some big pike, 40-inch class in Simcoe, but I believe the average size is bigger today than it was 20 years ago. You can find them in depths of 2 feet to 30 feet. If you can find a deep weed line in 10 to 20 feet of water, that would be ideal. Pike are not as active during the winter time. They will feed, and they do react, so reaction baits like shiny spoons do the trick. If you find a school of herring in shallow water, the pike won't be far away. And of course a 4-inch sucker, or a dead sucker even, will do the trick. So if we don't get great ice this year, just the bays freeze, lots of pike there, it's a great option. It is going to be another tough year for lake trout on Lake Simcoe as the last of the aging fish die off. There are no quick fixes to this, but the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources Fisheries certainly pulling out all the stops. We are now in the third year of this rehabilitation program. Stocking numbers have doubled, and there is 259,000 spring yearlings and 16,000 fall yearlings. It'll be interesting to see if any of these show up this year. They should look like this, between 30 and 35 centimeters. Burbot definitely did not turn out as I thought it might last year, but that may have much to do with ice conditions. There are no limits on burbot, and that might be starting to take its toll. They're very concentrated through January and early February, and anglers know where to find them. I did not record a single burbot all last year. You know, I often get asked about the state of the lake given the incredible changes that have happened over the last 20 years, particularly with the later warming trends. I'm sure that there's no one person that could answer that question. The lake is so diverse and so resilient. There are over 50 different species in hundreds of micro-habitats throughout the lake. A single species can make up multiple different fisheries around the lake. Each of these fisheries can be in a different population growth cycle. Just 20 years ago, there was nothing but northern common crayfish in the lake. Within 10 years, rusty crayfish dominated the population. But fast forward to today, there's hybrids in many parts of the lake. Crayfish make up a substantial part of the food web all over the lake for multiple different species, fish and birds. As an angler, you tend to look at the health of the lake by the population that you target. And of course, it's not just the species that you target, but it's also the area that you target them in. If you're a bass angler, you probably know where to target them spring, summer, and fall. But if you didn't acquire new water through the years, eventually your spots are going to dry up. And when angling effort has to double or triple to catch the same number of fish, often your perception of the whole fishery changes. So my general perception of the lake is that it's very healthy. And other than trout, I'd have to say that any of the species that I highlighted earlier in my forecast has the potential to be as good as it's been at any point in the last 10 years. There are pockets of trouble in some areas of the lake for some species. There are new invasive species that threaten some natural habitat in various sections of the lake. And these all play a role in the constant evolution of the lake. Here's wishing you a happy, healthy, productive season and have a very Merry Christmas.